Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, this special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Government Employees Retirement System of the Virgin Islands for March 2nd, 2023. Is everybody called to order? So next, can we have a call?
Trustee Gori,
Present.
Trustee Dorsey. Absent. Mr. Chairman, is it excused or absent? For
I
Dorsey.
didn't get any correspondence from him.
Trustee Dorsey absent. Trustee Liger,
Yeah.
Trustee McDonald absent. Ex officio member Cindy Richardson.
Present.
Trustee Russell,
Present.
Somebody's
Trustee Smith. Absent. Chairman Carwood,
present.
4 present, 3 absent.
Okay, could we have the treasurer's report?
Mr. Chairman, before you begin, I have to inform the board I have to leave. I had a scheduled meeting at 10:30, so I'm gonna leave about 10 or 10:15, okay?
Okay.
Okay, because I have a scheduled meeting that I can't avoid.
Okay, thanks for that. Could we have the treasurer's report?
I am trying to pull it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Trustee Russell.
Yeah, okay. I think based on, the meeting that we had last time, you should offer apology to Trustee Dorsey. And, I don't know if he's online, but I think it would be appropriate because, things got rough and I'm sure that you didn't mean what you said, but you should apologize. And I'd ask you to do that, please.
Duly noted.
I will share my
Yes.
screen. Good morning, board chair, other trustees.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is the government employees schedule of receipts and disbursements for the month ending January 31st, 2023. We have collections, loan repayments, $707,990 year to date, $2,766,814. We have employer retirement contributions, $7,925,260. Year to date, $30,339,927. Employee retirement contributions, $4,659,646. Year to date, $17,557,226. We have a total collection for the month of January of $13,595,676. Year to date, 210,463,753. We have disbursements, annuity payments, 22,620,202. Year-to-date, 95,727,129. We have administrative expenses of 1,090,859. Year-to-date, 5,311,880. We have total disbursement of $24,650,023, and year-to-date, $105,774,989. Have a net cash deficit in the month of January of $11,054,347. Year-to-date, a net cash surplus of $104,688,765. Our year-to-date administrative expenses was 34% of the budgeted amount. For the Havenside Mall, for the month of January, we collected $455,524. Year-to-date, $1,912,050. Our total expenses for Havenside, $236,369. Year-to-date, $1,152,892. For a net cash surplus of $219,154 in January, and a year-to-date net cash surplus of $759,158. Our expenses for the month thus far is 14% of budget. That ends the treasurer's report, Board Chair.
I have some questions. Thank you, Ms. Jeremiah. I have some questions, Ms. Jeremiah.
Go ahead, Trustee Russell.
Okay, Ms. Jeremiah, go back to the first slide. Excuse me. Yeah. Loan repayment. Okay. And Mr. Nibs, you could chime in when we're ready, because I want to understand that. Those loans are outstanding, and I want to figure out, on the top you have 2,766,000, but 3,548,000. So I could say the dates for me, Ms. Jeremiah. Yes. Okay. In 22, we collected more money than in 23, right?
Correct.
Okay. And these loan repayments are from previous loans that were granted, and they just paying into the system now. Is that it?
This is the member loans that they're repaying. And remember, we haven't given any new loans since 2015. So the amount of money we are getting in is less every month, every pay period.
Okay, and that leads into my next question. Okay, so that the loan program was a viable source of income, and it still is, right? But it's small, but it is, right? You would agree with me?
It was, however, with our cash flow issue, and that issue is still there. As far as I'm concerned, we still have a cash flow issue. And so that is still there. There's no doubt that it was viable, but.
Okay. Okay, now go to employee and employer contributions. Thank you, good. Okay, year to date for the employer in 22 was 32 million. And why is it lower in 23?
We have to take into account that employees leave, we probably have less. In addition, remember that there are some agencies that still have payments due,
Outstanding.
outstanding. Yes.
Ah, okay. Go to annuity payments, disbursements. A pretty high in 23. Are people leaving the system? Is that the reason?
Remember, the people who are retiring now, most of them retire making more money than long ago. So our annuity is growing.
Oh,
The amount we are
okay.
paying out is growing.
Okay. And go to mortgage loans now. Yeah.
Yes, the 7,000.
Yeah.
Those are mostly escrow payments that we are making on behalf of those who have mortgages. If you go to our, oh, you see, this is the insurance,
Yeah. I following you.
right? What that up there is.
Okay. Go down a little bit more now. We finished with that. Okay. I finished with that. Go down a little bit more. Administrative expenses. Where is that? I want to go to that. I write it down here.
You're talking this amount?
Yes. Okay. So it's 4 and 5 million. Okay. Is that the same administrative expenses that we were trying to get from the legislature?
I don't know what you were trying to get from the legislature, but that's the expense to
Mr.
run the
Nibs.
system.
Mr. Nibs, are you online?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. When you went to the legislature, and if I recall, I listened to the testimony, you were asking for 15 million to be restored to the system from the legislature, right?
Yes, that was based on the actuarial estimate that was in the bond funding schedule. Yes. 15.6 million. Yes, so your answer is the 5.3 is part of the 15.6.
Oh, okay, you anticipate my question. Okay. So could we, suppose we ask for less, would it cover?
No.
No? Tell me why.
Well, number one,
Why it got to be 15 million?
why it has to be 15, because based on the budget, all this information is coming from the budget. You must remember when we came in with the budget, we came in with about $23 million to fund the FY 2023. And that included some capital projects and also the IT commitment that we need for the V10. So we had to take it out because our marching orders was that we have to limit it to the ceiling of 15.6. So my answer is no right now.
Okay. So can't we separate the IT from the other administrative expenses? The IT is absolutely necessary. Can we separate it?
Yes, we have separated it, and we are looking at other means. But let me tell you, we can limit a lot of our operating expenses. We have cut down significantly on our operating expenses. However, you must remember our personnel services and fringes are growing. Although we have reduced our manpower from about 95, let's say for the main office, it's down to at least 72. Maybe Ms. Clendenin can chime in, but still, it's every day, every year, it's increasing because of the union obligations that we have and increases in salaries.
Increases.
Okay.
But we can manage. I think we can manage our operating expenses. We have tried to. We put a hold on it, but you know, I can't see us going down to 12 million, 11 million. It wouldn't work.
Okay. Our explanation is all I'm looking for, you know, because I think we should dissolve it, but if we ask for less, we might get it, you know, that's my rationale. But you said no, okay, fine. Thank you, Mr. Jeremiah. I good. Thank you, Mr. Nib.
I think to put the 5.3 into perspective, that's That's only 4 months worth of expenses. $15 million for 1 year.
I'm good. And I want us to be able to justify our expenses when we go to the legislature so that we tight. And you guys did that. Thank you very much.
Any other trustees have any other questions related to the treasurer's report?
Accept the treasurer's report.
All right, trustee Smith has made a motion. Oh, it's Nibs, please mark trustee Smith as present. She just made a motion to accept the treasurer's report. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by trustee Smith, seconded by trustee Russell. Can I have a roll call, Mr.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Dorsey. Absent. Trustee Liger,
Yeah.
trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Russell,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Colwood,
Yes.
5 yes, 2 absent.
Thank you, Ms. Jeremiah. Let's move on to the next item, the investment officer's report.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, trustees, listening audience. This is an update of the investment portfolio as of January 31st, 2023. Stock market started 2023 on a strong footing with gains across basically all global equities. And we saw benefit from that. So our total plan returned 4.9% for the month, slightly underperforming its policy index by 0.9%. Our domestic equity portfolios returned 6.9%, pretty much in line with their benchmark. Our total international equity returned 8.3% for the month, slightly outperforming its benchmark by about 0.2%. And our total fixed income portfolio returned 2.9%, slightly underperforming its benchmark by 0.2%. Notable fund performances for the month: our Russell 3000 index fund was up 6.9%. Our MSCI Emerging Markets Index Fund was also up 8.4%. It's not here, but our developed market, our MSCI EFI Index was also up about 8.1% for the month. Our US Ag Bond Index Fund was up 3.3%, and our US High Yield Bond Index was also up 4.0%. How did that translate into dollars in the portfolio? So we ended the month at approximately 492.7 million. So we had a beginning value of $489.5 million. We had a net cash flow out of the portfolio of about 20 million. We had income of $476,000, and we had a gain of about 22.8 million. That brought us.
Could you advance your screen with those numbers?
You can see it.
At least I'm not.
You see it now? It's up.
Not on my computer. Maybe it's just me then. I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, you have to go to the next page.
Yeah, you have to go to the next page, Mr. Henderson.
Okay, it's on the next page on my screen. That's why I'm confused. Hold on a second.
Still seeing it.
Hold on a second. You see it now?
Yeah, yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay, good. You guys want me to start back from somewhere else? Or I'm going to just continue?
No, start back. I like watching the screen, please.
Okay, good. So we ended the month at approximately 492.7 million. If you look at the record of asset growth section, we began the month at $489.5 million in the portfolio. We had a net cash flow of about 20 million from the portfolio to pay benefits. We had income of 477 $1,000. We had a gain for the month of about $22.8 million. That brought us to the ending market value of $492.7 million. So as you could see, even with the cash flow, with the gain for the month, we pretty much, broke even. As it relates to fees for the month, we paid $97,000 in investment management consultant and custodian bank fees. Fiscal year to date, we've paid about $205,000. And Mr. Chairman, trustees, that ends my report for the month of January 31st, 2023.
Okay, I got a question.
Sure.
Yeah, when Makita show up for a meeting, do they
I'm sorry, Trustee Russell, I didn't hear the question.
Trustee Russell, we lost you. Trustee Russell, you there?
I think we may have lost him.
Mr. Henderson, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Ms. Smith. I'm good, Trustee Smith.
So we all know that portfolio pension funds are all about stocks and bonds. When do you think we'll be able to go back into that status?
Well, we're pretty much there right now. With the reallocation back to that was completed, excuse me, that was completed end of last year, December. We're pretty much back to where we were in terms of allocation about 10 years ago. So we've upped our allocation back to equities. Our target now is back to 65% of the portfolio in equities. So we're pretty much there.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other trustees have any questions for Ms. Henderson? Can I have a motion to accept?
So move.
Moved by Trustee Smith. Can I have a second to accept the investment officer's report?
Second,
All right, moved by Trustee Smith, seconded by Trustee Barry. Can I have a roll call, Mr. Nips?
Trustee Barry,
yes.
Trustee Dorsey, absent. Trustee Liger,
Yeah.
Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Russell. Trustee Russell, absent. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Calwood,
Yes.
4 yes, 3 absent.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nips. Next item on the agenda, new business, approval of the petty cash fund for Havenside Market.
Mr. Chairman, just let me. Mr. Chairman, we circulated a request for the approval of a petty cash fund for the Havenside Mall. The reason why we're asking for this is because we're experiencing a significant amount of small purchases in the Havenside Mall, many emergency purchases. And because for timely operation and the effectiveness of this office, I'm requesting a petty cash approval of petty cash fund for the office, an amount of $1,500. Just let me digress a bit. The main office has a petty cash fund of $3,000. Also, the St. Croix office has a petty cash fund of $3,000. Now, to make sure that there's adequate controls in place, we would require 2 signatories, shall be required on all checks before all disbursements are made, it shall be initialed by the requesting manager. And those requests will be approved by myself or designated senior management prior to the preparation of a check. Monthly reconciliation obviously would be prepared and the custodian would submit for review to the office of the administrator or designated senior management. The policy shall be administered in accordance with the established petty cash policy. So we are asking for this. The bank requires a resolution from the board to set up the account. The reason why we're before you today to request approval of this petty cash fund.
To the chair, Mr. Nibs, you said $1,500. Is that sufficient enough?
That is sufficient enough now. Let's start it off with that because this is something new. These individuals are new to the game. So
Okay.
I think we should limit it to this amount. If we see that there's an increase or need for an increase, we would. But coming before the policy committee shortly would be a revision to the corporate card policy. Because when I came, my corporate card was mainly limited to travel expenses. However, now we are using that card because of technology. Most vendors don't want cash or check. So I think that the amount of $1,500 is enough. Right now, we're using my card sometimes to make purchases. But I want to refrain from doing that to give them the autonomy to make decisions in regards to the petty cash fund. But I think we should limit it right now to this amount. Like I said, the main office is taking the brunt of it because what happens is the day that they'll ask for a request, I would have to sign a check, or if it's under $100, Miss Castro can sign it, but I have to approve authorize the purchase first. Then a check would have to be cut. Either someone from Havenside Mall would have to come down through the traffic to pick up the check, or we would have to send a messenger to pick up the check, which is very inefficient. So we're asking for this approval of this for efficiency and timely operation of the office, please.
Thank you, Mr. Nibs.
You're welcome.
Any trustees have any questions? I have no, I don't have any issue with adopting a resolution.
I don't have an issue with it either, Mr. Nibs. I mean, my initial thought when I read it was same as Trustee Smith. That was a low number, but upon your explanation, I yield to your judgment on that. So it's clearly inefficient. Yeah, and once the controls are in place, I'm good with it. So I'm prepared to support the resolution.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion for the approval of the petty cash fund for Havenside Mall in the amount of $1,500.
Moved by trustee Smith, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, moved by trustee Smith, seconded by trustee Bowery. I'm a roll call, Mr. Nibs.
Trustee Bowery,
Yes.
Trustee Dorsey. Absent. Trustee Liger. Trustee Liger. Absent. Trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Russell.
Mr. Russell just called me by telephone. He said that he lost his internet connection.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Calwood.
Yes.
We will need another trustee to pass this resolution. Mr. Trustee Liger.
Okay, let's recess for 2 minutes. Let me try to find out if Liger is not, is still there.
Yeah, he's on now.
Okay, we're back on the record. I believe Mr. Liger is back.
Trustee Liger,
Just 1 second, Mr. Trying to reach him. Let me do something.
Trustee Liger,
Yeah. I'm here.
okay, we're voting on the approval of the petty cash fund.
Oh, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, 4 yes, 3 absent.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda was unfinished business in reference to the administrator search. Asked to have this put on the agenda. We posted the position. We're going to have it posted for a period of 3 weeks based on some interest, local interest that was expressed in the position. Subsequent to the SPV, we believe that the search firm is no longer needed. So the CEO will be setting up a meeting with the trustees in a few days so that we could iron out the specifics. But I just wanted it on the agenda to let it be known that we posted the position and it be posted for a period of 3 weeks. I think we started on March 1st, so we posted until the 21st.
You see, you started on March 1st, so you went out to social media on March 1st?
Correct.
So I haven't seen anything in the media. You said just locally or internationally as well?
No, we just did locally since subsequent to the SPVs. I was trying to get a money that was a few candidates, qualified candidates, expressed interest. I believe at this time that we can go to CASA.
We don't need a search sheet.
So yeah, so we'll be having a meeting set up in a few days so that we could with the trustees so we can iron out the details. Any questions from any of the trustees? Okay, can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So move. Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to hear matters pertaining to trade secrets or financial or commercial information or personal or legal matters, or matters whose premature disclosure will frustrate implementation of the proposed agency action.
I get a second.
Second.
Moved by trustee Smith, seconded by trustee Liger. Can I have a roll call?
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Dorsey absent, trustee Liger,
Yes.
trustee McDonald absent, trustee Russell, trustee Russell absent, trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Coward,
Yes.
4 yes, 3 absent.
Okay, we'll allow MIS to a few minutes to do what needs to be done, and then we'll be 5 minutes. Okay, so we recess for 5 minutes and we reconvene in executive session.
Okay.
We're back in regular session. During executive session, the board discussed legal matters, in addition to matters relating to Haverside property and Waco. Motion?
Adjourn. Since there are no other questions, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
All right, motion to adjourn moved by trustee Smith, seconded by trustee Liger. Can I have a roll call?
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Dorsey, absent. Trustee Liger,
Yeah.
trustee McDonald, absent. Trustee Russell, absent. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Calwood,
Yes.
4 yes, 3 absent.
All right, this meeting for March, special meeting of the GRS board for March 2nd, 2023 is hereby adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of the day.